Effort of your Los Angeles Rams. React to today's game.
This is the Coors Light Postgame Show.
The home of Rams football.
With Kirk Morrison, here is Travis Rogers.
24-23, the final from Detroit, the game of the weekend, at least so far, Kirk. The Rams come up just short. The Lions will advance to the divisional round. We got a lot to get into, a lot of decisions that were made, a lot of decisions that were not made. But first, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the ESPN LA Rams radio network.
It's Evan Cohen, Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Candy, and Michelle. Now, mornings 6 to 10 a.m. on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN. KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
So, Kirk, where do you want to start? I mean, we could talk about how the Rams could not get a stop to save their lives in the first half. 3 75-yard touchdown drives. They only gave up 3 points in the second half. Whatever they were not able to do, they were able to get figured out for the second half. There was a fourth down decision to punt the ball away towards the end of the game. There was a timeout, or more to the point, a decision not to call a timeout with about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Just a lot of missed opportunities for the Rams. A great game, a great effort at the end of a great season, but incredibly disappointing to come up 1 point short.
Disappointing today, not this season.
Right.
Season was great. This season, they accomplished a lot in a year in which they were supposed to be rebuilding and retooling and resetting. There was not a lot of expectations. They exceeded everyone's expectations. It's always hard when you lose that final game. I thought about this on the drive over to the studio today. There's two things that can happen. The Rams go into Detroit, and they take care of business, and they're thinking about their next opponent.
Yep.
Or the Rams go to Detroit, and the next day they're packing up their lockers. It's a harsh reality in the National Football League. You never think about the packing of the lockers. You never think that I'm playing with a group of guys that will continue this journey. Today, that journey ended. That is going to be tough. The way that this team was constructed, this will never be the same. I've told you this a couple times before, that games that I've played in that last game of the season, you walk around and you look around that locker room and it starts to hit you that what we accomplished this season is now over, that the room will not be the same. There will be new coaches. There will be new players. And you don't have a lot of time when you're in sorrow for losing. But when the Rams they get back to Los Angeles, they'll sit back and realize what they accomplished. They just didn't win a day. It's a tough one to even speak about, but it's something that they're going to build on for sure.
It is a tough one to play as well as they did and come up as close as they did, 24-23, the final. But they just weren't able to get that Detroit offense off the field early. They weren't able to get the ball back at the end. Jared Goff converts to get that first down on that final drive that kind of put the thing away. And, Kirk, you said it during the pregame show. I put it in my notes right here. You said that it's the procedural stuff that they could come down to this. They burned 2 timeouts early in the second half, one in the third quarter, one very early in the fourth quarter, and it came back to bite them. They they only had 1 timeout as they were coming down the stretch, and it was one of those procedural things that there's a million decisions that go in a game, but they had to call a couple of timeouts because they couldn't get organized prior to the snap and had to burn them, and it came back in a big way because with multiple timeouts, the end of that game probably goes a little bit differently.
That's the hard one to deal with because you just mentioned it. Did that have anything to do with what Detroit did? Nothing. It had nothing to do with what the Detroit Lions did. These were things that happened because of the Rams. Not getting to play in, not having enough time. All that were self-inflicted wounds by the Rams, and it came back to bite them. It caught up to them. The Rams played an amazing football game. I mean, that outfit over there, the Detroit Lions, they're a good football team. They won their division. They won the NFC North this year, and they played well. They could have been the 2 seed had Dan Skipper reported eligible against the Cowboys. They're the 2 seed in the NFC. The Rams defense, leaky in the first half. I'll stand up and tip my cap to Raheem Morris. They gave up 3 points in the second half.
The defense,
they figured it out.
Yeah, they did figure it out, but boy, it took a while because they were just walking up and down on him in the first half. They couldn't get to Jared Goff at all. They started to get to him in the second half, and you could see it. Look, Jared Goff was very good tonight. Jared Goff finishes 22 out of 27, 277 yards. He had a touchdown pass. He did not throw an interception along the way, but you could see it. There were a couple of those moments where it got very shaky for Detroit, in part because they started to get some pressure on Jared Goff. But, over the course of a 4-quarter game, you're going to come back, you're going to think about all these different little plays. The Rams couldn't get anything done in that first half defensively. 3 75-yard touchdown drives, and they scored touchdowns when they had a chance, right? They got inside the red zone. They got 6s and 7s. The Rams got inside the red zone 3 different times. They did not score a touchdown. They kicked 3 field goals.
That was the difference in the game. I mean, the Rams were able to defensively correct their wrongs in the first half. Yes, it was leaky. It was a situation where they couldn't get a lot of pressure on Jared Goff.
Yeah.
But they made the adjustments in the second half. I just thought that the offense didn't play catch-up. The offense, they could really adjust. They couldn't make those. They got into the red zone, and you scored 3 or you kicked 3 field goals.
Couple of weird play calls in there, too.
Just one touchdown wins this game.
One touchdown in those 3 trips wins the game, and we saw it again. We saw it inside the 10-yard line. We saw a first and goal to go, and we saw 3 throw attempts into the end zone without running the ball. Some of the things we talked about during the pregame show, just these things that keep coming back, these same things that, look, this is a great season. This was an incredibly disappointing finish to a great season, and Sean McVey is a great coach, but it's the same things we come back to. Timeout management, inside the red zone, yes, but in particular inside the 10-yard line when they get goal to go, they get a little pass happy, and it just felt like those 2 things together kind of brought us to where we are, where you're a little short in the timeout department and you're just a hair short in the touchdown department. You kick some field goals, but you can't get 3s to match 7s.
But I think the things that we talked about before the game are why the Rams lost this game. They're procedural penalties. They're running down the clock, only having 2 timeout or 1 timeout remaining down the stretch. That's one of the main reasons. I thought the other main reason as well was that Sean McVey, late in the game, had to adjust his game plan because of his field goal kicker. I think he would be probably more aggressive. Had he had Matt Gay, I think the Rams on a 4th and 14 are not trying to get it all.
Take half of it back, right?
3rd and 14. You're trying to get half of it, maybe 6, maybe 7. I know what the Rams are going to do this offseason. They're going to go find a kicker. Whether it's a free agent kicker, whether they're drafting a kicker, they're going to go out and find a field goal kicker because that was a main reason of how he had to play the game. I think that he even goes for it in that situation on 4th down before you decide to punt it.
Punt it away?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
it's a lot of things that I'm saying, like, man, you
Let's talk about that because the decision to punt it away with a little bit, a little under 4 minutes to go, rather than go for it, maybe try a very, very long field goal at that point. The odds of getting the ball back with only 1 timeout,
correct.
You're basically 1 first down away, maybe 2 from not being able to stop the clock and letting it run out, and that's exactly what happened. Plus your phone calls, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. And was there a missed PI on Puka Nacua, too, on that 3rd down play that was missed by the referees? Lots to get to. Plus, we'll hear from the head coach of the Rams, Sean McVey. That's all coming up. You are listening to the Coors Light postgame show on the ESPN LA Rams radio network. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason in Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us. January 15th, Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
You're listening to the Coors Light Postgame Show
on the ESPN LA Rams Radio Network.
And it is a final at Ford Field. Super Wild Card Sunday night.
And it is the Coors Light Postgame Show Sunday night, Wild Card Sunday night edition. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long. Rams lose tonight to the Lions in a season that nobody saw the Rams making the playoffs. But the Lions win this one tonight at Ford Field. We're reacting right now. Travis Rogers, Kirk Morrison with all the coverage and taking your reaction at 877-710-ESPN. The Coors Light Postgame Show, Wild Card Sunday night edition continues right now. Back to Travis and Kirk.
1 point and what feels like 100 miles short of a wild card victory. 24-23, the final score. The Lions will advance. They will take on the winner of tomorrow night's Tampa Bay and Philadelphia game, the other NFC playoff game. San Francisco will be hosting the Green Bay Packers. We've got an AFC matchup still to sort themselves out along the way. We'll get to more of those games coming up in just a little bit. Your phone calls, too, coming up just a second from now, 877-710-ESPN if you want to get in there. Kirk, why did Sean McVey opt to punt the ball away there with under 4 minutes to go? Because basically that decision puts the entire season on the back of your defense, right? Yeah. You got to get a 3 and out. You got to get the ball back right there. And if you would say to me, what is the better unit between the defensive unit or the offensive unit? I would answer the offensive unit. They were moving the ball all day long. You're in a 3rd and 14 situation, right? Maybe you try to get half of it back on that 3rd down play instead of throwing it in. We'll talk about that call on Puka or the non-call on Puka. Yeah. But even at 4th and 14, I don't know if I don't like that more. A super long field goal. Get a little closer on the 3rd down play. Try a somewhat shorter long field goal with Brett Maher. But punting it away there, you are putting all of your eggs in your defensive basket. And this Rams team, while the defense was very good in the second half, they don't lead with their defense. They lead with their offense.
Yeah, I think that there was still a lot of time left. So I just
with only one timeout
with
though,
only
not
one
nearly
timeout,
as much.
And remember you had the two minute warning as well,
which they kind of fouled that up
and
too.
Yeah, so but you had the time. But what happened was you allowed that first down early on. You get what? And on the first part of that drive,
Yeah.
so you kind of had already let it go.
Did you like
by.
the decision to punt it away?
I didn't like the decision. I thought that maybe, and this is where not having a field goal kicker it hurt.
You think they call a different play on third
Absolutely.
down if they have like just a name at random?
Yeah.
If Matt Gay is still around, they call that a little differently.
100%. They go for a field goal in that situation. He's probably just trying to get 8 or 9 yards and just say, hey,
Something
what's
underneath.
it? Because regardless of if you kick it and miss it, you still have the same amount of time with the one timeout left.
Yeah.
But you go down saying, you know what, we tried it and we didn't get it. Now, look, Jared Goff and those guys would still have to go out and get a couple first downs. And if they had to punt it away, you're still in the same situation. Not having a field goal kicker, I didn't want it to rear its ugly head, but it did. Because not having a field goal kicker
It
forced the
affected
Rams.
decision-making.
It did. And Sean McVey will probably tell you that. It was a situation where we didn't get that third down call, and we were on fourth down, and you know what, let's just punt it. No, you should have went for it on 4th and 14 because either way it goes, the ball still would have been turned over and would have been given right back to him. So that was that. But on third down, had you had a good field goal kicker, you would have went for an opportunity to just get 8 yards, 7 yards, 6 yards. Cooper Kupp has been your go-to guy on those third down. Going to him, and then you got an opportunity to kick the field goal on 4th down. That didn't happen, so it all came together. This is one at the look. I'm not going to blame it all on that sequence.
Yeah.
We can throw some early first down or early first half plays that didn't go their way, but this definitely that last little sequence. You say, man, what they should have done. It wasn't the whole reason, but it was a big
series
reason.
of decisions that they all broke wrong. There was a series. It was bad timeout decisions or bad clock management, procedural stuff like you talked about, combined with no trust in the kicking game, combined with a play call that you probably wouldn't call otherwise because you don't love your kicking game,
Right.
and then you miss it. So now you're in a 4th and 14 situation, and I still think you go for it there. If my choice is, everything needs to go perfect on defense, get it back with Matthew Stafford, drive with no timeouts left, and then try a medium to long field goal, or put it on the right hand of Matthew Stafford. I'm going to roll with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
That just feels like a much more likely outcome, especially the way that he'd been playing. He was brilliant today. That Matthew Stafford, you really couldn't ask for a lot more than he gave you. 25 out of 36, 367, and a pair of touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm going to ride with number 9.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you. I think Sean McVay, if he had the opportunity to do it over, I think he probably would go that way. Just went too conservative on the road.
Yeah.
If you go down, look, you're not even supposed to be there. Let's be real. If you're playing like house money, you know what? We're not supposed to be here. Let's just go try to kick a field goal. Let's try to get a couple more yards and try to kick that field goal on 4th down instead of having a punt. It was just that little final sequence of plays. I thought Sean McVay, with the inability of not having a field goal kicker, played it that way.
Yeah, it's just so many little things along the way.
And look, I don't even know what Brett Maher's range was.
Yeah.
We don't even know.
He was
you know what I mean?
3
Is
out
he
of
inside
7
40?
from 50-plus this season.
Yeah.
So this would have been a kick that was well into the 50s.
Correct.
And you're basically looking at a 50-50 shot. There's a lot of things that went into those decisions. Ultimately, the timeouts might be the biggest deal of all.
That was the one.
The missed call was certainly a part of it as well. We're going to take your phone calls coming up next. We start with phone calls. That's straight ahead. Plus, we will hear from the head coach of the Rams, Sean McVey. It's all coming up on the Coors Light postgame show on the ESPN LA Rams radio network.
With Next Level Tech.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason in Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us. January 15th, Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Your home for every moment of Rams football all season long. And the home of Sedano and Cap. Afternoons 4 to 7 p.m. on 710. You're listening to the Coors Light Postgame Show
on the ESPN LA Rams Radio Network.
And it is a final at Ford Field. Super Wild Card Sunday night.
And it is the Coors Light Postgame Show Sunday night. Wild Card Sunday night edition. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long. Rams lose tonight to the Lions in a season that nobody saw the Rams making the playoffs. But the Lions win this one tonight at Ford Field. We're reacting right now. Travis Rogers, Kirk Morrison with all the coverage and taking your reaction at 877-710-ESPN. The Coors Light Postgame Show. Wild Card Sunday night edition continues right now. Back to Travis and Kirk.
A bummer to be sure. 24-23, the final score. The Lions just barely beat the Rams in Detroit. Their first playoff win in forever, basically. Yeah. Certainly what it feels like 30 years. We'll hear from the head coach of the Rams, Sean McVey, coming up in just a little bit. But let's start with the phone call. Let's go to the Valley and Granada Hills and David. David, you're on with Travis and Kirk on the Coors Light postgame show. What's going on? David is not there.
Steve Lahara.
Oh, hey, Steve. What's up, Steve?
Hey, not much. No, hey, I'm blaming this loss on Coach McVey. I was talking to Brandon Staley, and he didn't know what the hell McVey was doing out there. So it's in the first drive, it's first and goal from the 6-yard line, and he throws 3 passes.
Right.
You're running the ball down the field. Run the ball. Get in there. And then at the end of the game, it's fourth down territory. You have to go for go for it on 4 plays. And he kicks the ball over to them. I mean, come on. It's simple math, you guys.
Yeah, Steve, let me jump in there real quick, Steve, because the first and goal, let's start right there. First and goal from the 6, 3 passing plays. Ultimately, they do not end up scoring a touchdown. They kick a short field goal to put their first 3 points of the night on the board. Frustrating, to be sure. No question about it. It's what Sean McVay does. And if this is what he does, I can live with that portion of it because it's Sean McVay. You got one of the best coaches in the league. And I'm not making an excuse, but if that's how he wants to do it, I think you got to live with that. The second part of what you're talking about is a tougher pill to swallow.
Which one is that?
The fourth down decision, the end of game decision to punt it away. The play, and I get it that Brett Maher is not somebody that you have a great deal of confidence in. And okay, fine. Then let's get into 2-down territory, right? That if we're trying to convert there, because it felt, Kirk, it felt so much like if they could get that next first down, they're going to win that game.
They're going to win the game.
That it did not feel like Detroit was going to be able to drive the field and score there. They had not moved the ball well in the second half very much at all. But I still want my offense to decide. And if you have no faith in Maher, and I understand why, even though he made his kicks tonight, some of them looked a little cleaner than others. But if you don't have faith in him to try a long one, then let's go into 2-down territory. I know it's 3rd and 14. Let's get a chunk of it back and then make a decision. A, the field goal is either closer, or B, even if it's not, even if it's still 4th and 14, with only one timeout to go, kicking that ball back to the lines, that's the decision for me right now that I'm stuck on it. The decision to kick it away, to me, felt like a mistake.
I think what happened to there was a lot going on in that sequence as well. Let's go back to that play. It was a 3rd down play. The Rams actually got pressured, and they threw a pass to Ronnie Rivers. He catches it. It was actually a holding call
on Rob Havenstein.
Rob Havenstein. So instead of it being 4th and 6 and the Rams going for it, it went back to 3rd and 14. And that was a situation, I think, that where Sean McVay is like, oh, okay, I've got a chance here to pick up the first down and keep the chains moving. They didn't get the first down. Now, 4th and 14 looked a lot different than 3rd and 14.
Right.
So the whole sequence of plays, I think, really put Sean McVay in a situation.
And you're convinced that the play calls are a direct result of his faith in Brett Maher?
Absolutely. Non-faith.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Lack of faith.
Lack of faith, yes. I believe so. Because, first of all, I'm still shocked that I told you, I was shocked that Dan Campbell gave them the opportunity.
That he accepted the penalty. You gave him another shot at 3rd down.
It would have been 4th and 6.
Yeah.
Okay. And he decided, no. We'll accept the penalty. Okay.
Yeah.
Which made it, when it went back to the original line of scrimmage, which was originally 3rd and 4. So it made it 3rd and 14.
Yep.
I was shocked, but what it did was, this is where I thought that Dan Campbell said, I'm going to accept the penalty, because now it takes the field goal thought about it.
The field goal's off the option tree.
And that's what Sean McVay, once the field goal was off the table on 3rd and 14, I don't think he got back on the table. Sean McVay was going to score to go win the game. He was trying to go pick up the first down to keep the chains moving.
What about the missed call, Kirk? Puka looked like he got grabbed pretty. I get it that it never comes down to one call, but that's a tough one.
Yep.
Whenever you see a jersey get yanked in the open field, it's tough to kind of say, that kind of thing happens. I get it that guys make mistakes, but that is a very tough call to miss at that point in the game, because that gets called, like I said a second ago, it just felt like the Rams were moving. The Rams had all the momentum in the second half. Matthew Stafford was dealing all day long, and it didn't feel like they missed the play. It felt like they missed the call.
Yeah, they missed that call. That was one in which they miss, and it's a hard play to accept, but you got to move on from it. The Rams had more opportunities. Yes, that call should have resulted in the Rams' first down, and they win that game. To be honest, they're kicking a field goal. They're winning the game.
That one probably.
Yeah, that game's over with. That game's over with, in my honest opinion. But it didn't happen, and it goes down the stretch, and the Rams lose the game. It's a hard-fought game.
Coulda, right? You had 3 opportunities inside the 20-yard line to score touchdowns, and you didn't. You kicked field goals 3 times.
There's other opportunities.
Any one of those is a touchdown, and we're talking about a very different game. The last sequence is always the one that we focus on, but there were mistakes in previous sequences.
But I would ask anybody, and I'll ask you, do you get that call on the road?
I mean,
come on,
no.
on the road.
Hey, look,
if you're at home,
I go way back?
Yeah, go way back.
I'm going.
Yeah, I know where you're going.
You know where I'm going.
I know.
I'm going Tommy Lee Lewis and Nickel Roby Coleman. The Rams got a gift in that one that sent them to the Super Bowl. So it's a little bit hard to jump up and down. The decision to punt it away is the one that I'm really stuck on. We're going to hear from Sean McVay. He spoke with JB Long after the game. That is coming up next on the Coors Light Postgame Show on the ESPN LA Rams Radio Network.
Hey, John Ireland here, and I'm at my local Ralph's in front of the BB-Go display, and here's why. The Lakers and Ralph's are doing a sweepstakes, and you could win courtside seats to a Laker game. The question I get more than anything else is, how do I get in those courtside seats? This is how. You come to a local Ralph's, you spend at least $10 on BB-Go. Then you take your receipt and you send it to this web address, Lakers.com/BBGoSweeps. That's Lakers.com/BBGoSweeps. It's the contest runs from now through February 6th. So all you got to do is go to Ralph's, get some BBGO, and send in that receipt. Well, as long as I'm here. You can never have enough BBGO.
BBGO, the official game day snack of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413.
You're listening to the Coors Light postgame show
on the ESPN LA Rams radio network.
And it's a final at Ford Field. Super Wild Card Sunday night.
And it is the Coors Light postgame show Sunday night. Wild Card Sunday night edition. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long. Rams lose tonight to the Lions in a season that nobody saw the Rams making the playoffs. But the Lions win this one tonight at Ford Field. We're reacting right now. Travis Rogers, Kirk Morrison with all the coverage and taking your reaction at 877-710-ESPN. The Coors Light postgame show, Wild Card Sunday night edition, continues right now. Back to Travis and Kirk.
This game was 21-17 at the half. It felt like we were on our way to something in the 50s. It had a little bit of a feel like that Monday night game, Kirk, between the Rams and the Chiefs, where it was all gas, no break, I guess is the expression. And then in the second half, you had 9 points scored. It just was a very different tale of two halves along the way. Sean McVey obviously did a great job with this Rams team this year to get them to 10 wins, to get them into the postseason, but a very disappointing conclusion with a 24-23 loss to the Lions. He spoke with JB after the game.
Back at Ford Field in Detroit, where the Lions prevailed 24-23 over the Los Angeles Rams, and we're joined by the head coach, Sean McVey. Coach, how would you summarize the effort your men put forward tonight?
I'm really proud of this group. You know, it's been a special year, and we came up short today. It'll be a good opportunity for us to be able to learn. You know, the difference was the red zone. They were 3 for 3, we were 0 for 3, but you know, the grit, the toughness of this team. You know, we had our chances, but I just love this group. You know, they reminded me why I love coaching so much, and it was a really special year. I don't think any of us anticipated it ending tonight. But again, nothing but gratitude, appreciation, and love on my end. And, you know, hats off to the Lions for finding a way to be able to get it done. That's a really good football team.
Coach, that last offensive drive, that third down sequence, can you kind of take us through what you were thinking there before the holding and then after the holding?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we had a good play on, and you know, we had a little bit of a miscommunication where he didn't distribute the field quite like what we wanted. We got the holding, it backed us up, and you know, I'll have to look at it, but it's a bang play, and it looked like guy arrived before before the ball got to Puka. So you tell me what you saw.
You know, I go back to the bye and 3-6, and I think about this finishing as a 10-win season. You talk about a learning opportunity. This is a scar, but how will it serve the Rams moving forward into 2024, Sean?
Oh, it'll motivate us. But if there's anything you learned, every single year is a new year. So you know what? I'm going to just appreciate this group right now, and then you know, we'll look towards next year at the appropriate time. But this is about this group and all the special things they did, and you know, love these guys.
Thanks for a memorable season.
All right, appreciate you guys.
You can tell a very disappointed Sean McVey talking about the heart and the character of his guys and how hard they played. And like you said, every year is a new year, and we'll talk a little bit about what's coming up next year here in just a little bit. But I'm not. I was a little surprised to hear him go to the. Well, you tell me what you saw right there. It was interference, but like you said, Kirk, there are a lot of calls in a game, and that was one that was missed, and it's a huge play, but. I like what he said at the very beginning. This felt like a red zone issue as much as anything else. 0 for 3 in the red zone for the Rams. The Lions punched their ticket all 3 times they got in there with 3 touchdowns.
That's what it is. They scored touchdowns. The Rams kicked field goals. How crazy was that? You mentioned it. 37 points in the first half. Both teams combined, 37. Second half, 9. 2 field goals by the Rams, 1 field goal by the Detroit Lions. Both defenses toughened up. They made their adjustments. It was hard for both offenses. I'll give a ton of credit. Aaron Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, he was on his A game.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Johnson was on his game. It was 2 outstanding play callers in the first half that were doing their thing.
It was 2 totally different halves.
It was for both teams.
The first half felt like, you and I and Emily and everybody watching this game together, out of breath watching this. Like, every big play is a big play to Tutu, a big play to Puka, just bang, bang, back and forth the whole way. And then it was more of a kind of a traditional playoff grind in the second half where no one was really in control of it. It felt like the Rams had an upper hand, but maybe not by a huge margin, and they just couldn't get the plays that they needed to make inside the red zone and then ultimately on those 3rd and 4th down plays.
It was 21-17 at half, okay? And Rams are right in there. They came out of the half. They didn't have the drive in which I thought that they should be able to execute, go down. I thought they could steal momentum, especially we're talking about it. The fans are, it's coming out that first drive out of the half. It's a little sluggish. Crowd really not into it. The Rams didn't take control of momentum, and I thought that was kind of indicative of the second half. They just didn't put some things together that they needed. And look, I can also talk about some of the injuries that the Rams had, where they're. Matthew Stafford was a little bit banged up. We saw Puka Nacua go out of the game. The big
Kyron Williams, too.
Yeah, Kyron Williams, Tyler Higbee. I mean, there was a lot that goes into it. To say that all of that, and you came up 1 point short, I agree with Sean McVey. It's a tough one to talk about because you had your opportunity, but you're not disappointed with the way that the season ended. The season was what it was, and this Rams team, just to be in this position, I thought was just tremendous.
A very successful season for the Rams, a very disappointing conclusion to the game tonight and the way that it ended. And a record-breaking night for Puka. Again. A great night for Matthew Stafford as well. And we got to give Jared Goff a couple of flowers as well. He was very good as well. We'll get into that coming up on the Coors Light Postgame Show on the ESPN LA Rams Radio Network.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason and Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us January 15th. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO.
And it's a final at Ford Field. Super Wild Card Sunday night.
And it is the Coors Light postgame show Sunday night, Wild Card Sunday night edition. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long. Rams lose tonight to the Lions in a season that nobody saw the Rams making the playoffs. But the Lions win this one tonight at Ford Field. We're reacting right now. Travis Rogers, Kirk Morrison with all the coverage and taking your reaction at 877-710-ESPN. The Coors Light postgame show, Wild Card Sunday night edition, continues right now. Back to Travis and Kirk.
24-23, the final. The Lions will take on the winner of the Buccaneers-Eagles game that will be played tomorrow night on Monday Night Football. Still waiting to see how the AFC sorts itself out. Of course, Kansas City took care of their business. The Texans won their game as well. So one more game to go on each side of the bracket. Puka Nacua, Kirk, was targeted 10 times and had 9 catches. The only target of the night that did not result in a reception was the final target of the night, where there was likely a pass interference call that was missed. Right. He set an NFL record, a rookie record, 180 yards receiving for a single playoff game. He broke the 160-yard mark of DK Metcalf. That Puka set another NFL record in a season where he had already set 2 NFL records.
Rookie records, yeah.
Rookie records, right. Just an amazing, amazing season for Puka Nacua. What a find.
They found a star in the 5th round. 19 receivers taken in front of him. He was the best one out of all of them. This is a tip of the cap to Puka Nacua. I think that teams will now look at also how they evaluate, how they scout receivers. Also goes to the other side with Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Lions. He's still a young player in this league. He had 7 catches for 110 yards. Amon-Ra was, I believe, second year or third year for Amon-Ra, I believe, third year for him. One of the best. He was a first-team All-Pro. 7 catches, 110 today. These two guys, he was drafted in the 4th round out of USC. So I love the draft. Well, I love it because of guys like these who are, they get taken later in the rounds, but yet they are much better than the guys who are hyped up. That's why, look, I get a chance to go to the Combine every year, Travis. Yep. You see some of these receivers walking by, they're like, oh, he's a first-round draft pick, and then season comes and, hey, where are you?
Right. Where are you? Like you said, Puka Nacua, the 20th player drafted, or 20th wide receiver drafted.
Yep.
And he just set 3 different rookie NFL receiving records, 2 in the regular season, 1 in the postseason tonight. Let's take a minute and give Jared Goff a little bit of credit here, too. He was really good tonight, 22 out of 27, 277 yards, a touchdown along the way. And, Kirk, he had some,
Jared Goff moments.
Lack of a better word, some Goffian moments in the second half, but they couldn't get consistent pressure on him. When there was pressure on him, he looked a lot like the Jared Goff that you and I covered for a couple of years, and just that uh-oh moment. But when you give him time, he's going to make it happen, and he did.
He had 5 incompletions. One of those incompletions I remember for sure that he just threw at the feet of a running back on a screen play. So now you're down to 4 incompletions where they were just getting the ball away. Nice play on a 3rd down by the Rams. So to me, he had a pretty flawless game. He didn't turn the ball over. He got the Lions in the great positions. And let's be honest, we thought that they were going to run the football out and just play clock at the end. His play down the stretch, his confidence by his head coach, offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, who you're going to hear a lot of this week because he's the hottest top.
He's likely going to get a job.
He's going to get a job. Yeah. That's not even a question. He's going to get a job, possibly here in Los Angeles. If they don't get Jim Harbaugh, Ben Johnson, I think, will be the next head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers. That's just the way that when he came here this year and showed what Jared Goff and they were able to do inside of SoFi. So I am not surprised at all, but their willingness to let Jared Goff throw the ball under 4 minutes to go, and he completed it to a point where it was just like, all right, even if the Rams had timeouts, it was like you couldn't use them.
No.
They were just going because they had already converted a couple first downs. So tip of the cap to Jared Goff. They actually will host another playoff game due to the Dallas Cowboys, the 2-seed losing today, and the 3-seed Lions winning today. So you waited all this time for one playoff game. Well, guess what? By the winning today, you'll get another playoff game next week.
He's one win away from going back to an NFC Championship game with a second team, so good on him. Here are the numbers when he was pressured. Jared Goff, under pressure, 0 for 5 with 3 sacks.
There it is.
But only 0 for 5.
Only 5.
Right? Only 5 times. And
Right.
there's a lot of snaps in the game, and they did a pretty good job of keeping him clean. But when they didn't, he really struggled. Matthew Stafford, I'm looking at SportsCenter over your shoulder, Kirk. He's talking right now, and they just showed the hit that he took, which was early in the game. He hits his hand on a helmet, gets pretty nasty cut between his index and middle finger. He gets that taped up. He continues to go out there and deal. And then he took kind of a twofer on his – he gets hit, knocked over, and on his way down he gets hit again. Back of his head hits the ground hard. It looked like he was a little dazed, shall we say. He goes into the tent along the way and comes back and still looked like Matthew Stafford. He was great too. 25 of 36, 367, a pair of touchdowns. And numbers aside, that he's still the dude. He still can do all those things. And here's one thing you're never going to hear anything about this guy is that he's not tough enough. You're never going to hear that about that guy.
I thought he put 2 more years on his season this year. I thought really, on 2 more years on his career, I should say, not on his season. But he put 2 more years on his career. I look at what the Rams have coming back. They'll have a first-round draft pick. We'll talk about all of that. But there was nothing today that told me that Matthew Stafford isn't one of the top quarterbacks in this league. He's not going to get the Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, that kind of treatment. But, man, when you watch a game with him and
some of those throws.
Everybody compliments Matthew Stafford on what he was able to do. This is just the second loss for the Rams since December 10th.
Here you go. Games with 300 passing yards and no interceptions in Matthew Stafford's Rams career, including tonight. There are 8 wins and 1 loss tonight. Tough night for him because he played fantastic
did everything he could.
Came up 1 point short. Let's pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the ESPN LA Rams radio network.
It's Evan Cohen, Unsportsmanlike with Evan, Canty, and Michelle. Now, mornings 6 to 10 a.m. on LA's mega sports station, 710 ESPN. KSPN Los Angeles, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
All right, if you're on hold, stay there. We're going to get to all of these phone calls, 877-710-ESPN. We will hear from Matthew Stafford. We will likely hear from Sean McVey as well. We'll talk a little bit about what's coming up next season, that draft pick, and talk a little bit also about the rest of the playoff field. We still have a couple of games to go, but we're already starting to see how the rest of it is going to look as well. It's all coming up on the Coors Light Postgame Show on the ESPN LA Rams radio network.
Thank you for listening.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason and Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us January 15th. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO.
Sunday night.
And what a classic tonight at Ford Field in Detroit. But this one goes to the Lions. Lions advance to the playoffs. Rams lose in a nail-biter tonight. We react on the Coors Light postgame show. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long. Travis Rogers and Kirk Morrison recap it all. We'll have comments from Coach McVey and the locker room, plus your reaction at 877-710-ESPN. What a season. It's a final now for our LA Rams. Let's kick it off. The Coors Light postgame show on this wild card Sunday night right now.
Hi, this is Matthew Stafford of your Los Angeles Rams. React to today's game.
This is the Coors Light postgame show.
The home of Rams football.
With Kirk Morrison, here is Travis Rogers.
A 10-win season ends with a wild card loss on the road by a point to the Detroit Lions, 24-23. A very disappointing conclusion to a season that I think was kind of a little bit of a bonus. And Kirk, we can spend, we got some time coming up here to talk about what's on the horizon for the Rams and where they may go, where they may spend some of these draft picks. They have a first-round draft pick for the first time in a very long time coming up in the 2024 draft, but still a lot of ground to cover in this one as well. Let's try another phone call. 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-3776. Let's go down to Orange County in Anaheim. And Sean, you're on the Coors Light postgame show. What's up?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I love Sean McVey, but there's two things that bother me that he keeps doing, and he did it today. The first thing is I have no idea why he refuses to run the ball when we're inside the 10. We threw it 3 times on that first possession. Nothing led to a field goal. And second, we keep burning through our timeouts in the second half. And had he kept those timeouts, we would have had another shot at stopping Detroit and maybe getting the ball back. Mistakes, and I think, McVay blew some calls today, my opinion.
Yeah, Sean, thanks for the call. I think that there's some things that, especially the third down call on 3rd and 14, and then ultimately the decision to punt it on 4th and 14, I think are things that are fair to be criticized. Yeah. I do. Look, here's the rub, and you're not wrong. I think if there are 2 very fair criticisms of Sean McVay, it's the use of timeouts in moments where they're used early in halves. Right. And sometimes you get down to the end and they don't have enough, whether it's to be able to stop the clock like today or to be able to challenge a play. We've seen that happen as well. And the other part is the desire to score through the air when you get inside the red zone, and more specifically inside the 10-yard line. That's just not tonight. Both of those things did pop up tonight. I agree with Sean, but these are things that have been sore spots for Rams fans for several seasons.
This is who Sean McVay is, though. Right. This is part of the of how he calls plays. This is also part of Matthew Stafford. It was going to be difficult on the road today. Now, it didn't really come up in the first half, but in the second half, it really came up because they were trying to get into some of the perfect plays. They try to get a look at the defense for as long as they can, but you can't go through the motions and shifts when that play clock is going all the way down. They had to waste a couple of timeouts. And honestly, I thought they actually awarded Sean McVay with a timeout. That should have been actually a delay of game. Yeah. And I think when you think back to it, maybe you should have got a delay of game. A delay of game
might have been a better outcome.
Would have saved you a timeout. So this is part of it. It only catches up with you when it catches up with you. Because if they go out and win this game, we're not talking about that. If they had more time at the end, we're not talking about the opportunity that they could have called timeouts in some spots. So I just sit back and I look at, these are things that the Rams would fix, can move on from. But I also say that next year, hopefully the Rams are playing this game at home and not on the road. If they're playing at home, totally different way that McVay calls plays and the way that they can manipulate a defense on the road.
And the other thing that's going to be different next year is they're going to have a kicker, presumably, that you don't have to make decisions around. Correct. Right? That you can make decisions in, for lack of a better way of putting it, a more traditional decision-making tree, right? That, okay, his range is 52 and in, we go for it, not this. I don't know, because, look, there were a couple of kicks today that were fine. Right. There were a couple of kicks today that were not fine. They went in, but I'm sure that Sean McVay was not only watching whether or not they went in, but what does it look like? Because that entire operation that they had going all season long was all over the map. And you've said it, I've said it, and I believe that the reason that they got into that weird spot at 3rd and 14 and tried the play that they tried to convert to Puka with was because that even had you gotten 8, 9, 10 yards, you still didn't like the field goal option right there. I would have done it anyway and then gone for it on 4th down. I still don't like the decision to punt at all, but the lack of kicking game, they didn't miss a kick today, but I think you don't have to look too hard to say that the reason that they're done for the year is because they had no faith in their kicking game.
Yeah, that's going to be that's the area of concern for me. When the Rams look at this offseason, or when they get into this offseason now that has started, when Les Snead and Sean McVey all come together, they're going to look and say, where can we improve at on this defense? Obviously, they need to go out and get a consistent pass rusher.
Yeah.
Right? Aaron Donald is an interior guy. Kobe Turner gave you another part of being an interior rusher. I like the young Byron Young coming along, but they need another outstanding pass rusher. Think about it. They could have had Brian Burns, remember, from the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
They actually
I've
offered
talked about him for a couple of
first
years.
round. Yeah, they offered a couple of picks, and that's why Carolina's a dumpster fire. So I mean, they could have got a couple picks and could have added. Instead, they've got Bryce Young, and that's just the way it goes.
No pick coming, right? No pick coming.
So I think that they go that route. They look at the also secondary. They got to go get another corner. So maybe you go out in free agency. They've got money to play around with.
I think that's got to be right near the top of the list
so
too.
There's some areas of concern, but. Whoever is a field goal kicker, could you get Matt Gay back here?
Yeah,
I mean,
well, they
didn't have enough money to keep him. I think they got enough money now.
They've got enough money now, and I don't know if there was a situation in the offseason where you're thinking, hey, we might be a kicker away from winning some playoff games. I think they kind of found themselves in that situation because they overachieved for the vast majority of the second half of the season. They finished with 10 wins, which I don't think a lot of people thought was going to come. Let's try another one. Let's try Donovan this time in Laverne. Donovan, you're on the Coors Light postgame show with Travis and Kirk. What's up?
Hey, guys. I felt like before the half ended, I felt that McVey should have made the decision on the Rams to try to go down the field and possibly get into field goal range or score. Just add more points before the half ended.
Donovan, I'm not doing that. It's 21-17. We finally got to stop
defensively.
Defensively, we've got to stop. And you want me to drive 95 yards for a touchdown, or even that? They would have to drive like 60 yards with 1 minute to go right before half. Now, just say that they don't take the game into half, and Detroit comes back and scores. Now you're down even more. Instead of being down 4 at half, you could be down 7 or more. I like this situation because remember, you got the ball to start the second half, so you're not losing a possession. You're saying, we got to go clean up our defense. Let's use this extra time to go figure some things out defensively, and then come back out and we'll have a drive offensively in much better situation. I didn't like backed up at 5 yards. They ran the ball once, and once they got a little bit of breathing room,
both teams are like, we're good.
Right, we're good.
Let's get the heck off this field. Let's go from there. I said to you, Kirk, in the moment, I'm like, do not get crazy here. Get off the goal line, run the ball a couple of times, get off the goal line, and get into the locker room for all the reasons you said. They're going to get the ball to open up the second half. If you would have made a mistake there, then the game is in a really weird place. 21-7, the way that first half felt, it felt like the Rams should have been behind by 1 million.
Correct.
And they were behind by 4
points.
So
with the ball
coming back, that is, look, I'm going to say it over and over again. The 4th down decision, weird decision to punt it away. The 3rd down play call to try to get all of it, I kind of get it, but either if you don't trust the kicker and you don't want to go there, then go in 2-down territory, right? Go all in at that point. But at the end of the first half, I think that they handled that about the best way that you could. We're going to hear from Matthew Stafford after the game. That's coming up. Plus, we'll talk about some of the other playoff games that we saw. Dallas got run over today, and imagine that there's going to be a whole lot of stuff coming out of there, including maybe an announcement of a coach going out and maybe a very famous one coming in. The odds are certainly favoring that. That's all coming up on the Coors Light postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason and Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us January 15th. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO. Hey, John Ireland here, and I'm at my local Ralph's in front of the BBGO display, and here's why. The Lakers and Ralph's are doing a sweepstakes, and you could win courtside seats to a Laker game. The question I get more than anything else is, how do I get in those courtside seats? This is how. You come to a local Ralph's, you spend at least $10 on BBGO, then you take your receipt and you send it to this web address. Lakers.com/BBGO sweeps. That's Lakers.com/BBGO sweeps. It's the contest runs from now through February 6th. So all you gotta do is go to Ralph's, get some BBGO, and send in that receipt. Well, as long as I'm here. You can never have enough BBGO.
BBGO, the official game day snack of the Los Angeles Lakers.
The last hour and 15, 20 minutes or so talking about all the things that didn't work out for the Rams, some decisions. And look, the season is over. You heard Sean McVey talk about how proud he was of these guys. You mentioned that there's no like soft ending to these things. You either win the game and come back and start getting ready for the next one, or you lose right? And you're done tomorrow. You clean out your stuff and you may or may not be back depending on your contractual situation. Yeah. The Rams have an incredibly bright future in front of them. And quite frankly, Kirk, probably a lot sooner than maybe I think a lot of us might have thought we'd be saying that.
Okay, what are you thinking?
This was a team that was 5-12 a year ago, and it felt like, all right, seeing what they did, or more to the point, maybe what they didn't do during the last offseason. They drafted a lot of guys, 14 guys. They didn't really sign too many guys in free agency. They were pretty quiet as far as acquiring players, and the players they did get were kind of, the Ahkello Witherspoons, the Kevin Dodsons. Well, all these guys kind of hit. Demarcus Robinson is another one. They bring John Johnson back. Like, these guys hit in a meaningful way. Well, now you have a full complement of draft picks. You're about to get a bunch of money you can spend in free agency, depending on how you look at these things, somewhere between 50 and 70 million. That's a decent amount. You got a first-round pick for the first time in a long time. Matthew Stafford is still as good as it gets. You have a running back who's one of the best in the league. You have a wide receiver who was an all-pro as a rookie out of the 5th round. You got a lot of stuff coming back that's very encouraging, and you have a lot of flexibility moving forward. That window that felt barely open to start the season just got kicked wide open all over again.
Absolutely. Right now, currently, the Rams, and this is depending on if the Tampa Bay wins or loses. Tampa Bay wins tomorrow, the Rams are going to be picking 19. Tampa Bay loses tomorrow.
22?
The Rams will pick 20. So
20,
they'll move
okay.
up. And so if the Steelers win tomorrow, the Rams will stay right there at 20. So the Rams will be picking about 19 or 20. That usually is in the line of a defensive player.
Yeah.
Maybe a solid offensive lineman. Who knows? Because, look, the free agency is going to come as well. Alaric Jackson is a free agent, the guy who they have on their offensive line. Do you re-sign him? Do you bring in another guy, maybe a center? there's a lot that when you start to break down this Rams roster, they've got some things that they need to do in the draft this year.
Corner, I think, has to be something that you have to address. You probably need a little more pass rush. But the exciting part, too, is, Kirk, is you have so much talent that is young and that you don't have to pay Puka yet. You don't have to pay Steve Avila yet. You don't have to pay Kyron Williams yet. You've got a lot of guys that have had, they found 4 starters this year. Correct. Byron Young, Kobe Turner. These are guys you don't have to pay yet. So, the Rams were playing for the now for the first part of the Sean McVay era. Right. This is the first time they kind of played for the now and the let's see what comes next. Well, they might be right back in the let's play for the now coming up this offseason.
There's a window of space right now that the Rams can really take advantage of, as well as drafting a quarterback. They have to draft a quarterback this year. Have to. No doubt about it. They need to draft a quarterback and start to groom the quarterback.
What if Carson Wentz doesn't get a starting job? Do you roll that again?
Yeah, but you could still draft a quarterback.
Okay.
But I think Carson Wentz shown enough, and I think, to me, just the when you analyze the NFL this year, Carson Wentz will be on a roster opening day as a backup quarterback, because I think the investment into backup quarterbacks is going to be much more than we saw last year. Okay. Right? Going into the season, the Rams said, "Oh, we'll take Brett Rippon." Like, really, Brett Rippon? And then you realize, we need to go get something.
They've been doing this under Leslie and Sean McVay the entire time. They've gone economical, shall we say, at backup quarterback. We have not, and then last year they just got to the point with Perkins and with Wolford. It's like, this just doesn't work. Right. Mayfield becomes available. They take a shot. They win 2 out of 5 games, 2 and 3 with an NFL quarterback. We saw Carson Wentz. He's an NFL quarterback. It just feels like at some point you're going to need to play that person. Maybe, hopefully not for half a season, but look around. Look at Cleveland. Look at all these other teams. Look at the Jets. You're going to need a second quarterback at some point, and you wonder if that's not something they don't put an emphasis on.
By the Rams winning this year, you've put yourself in a situation where we can draft Matthew Stafford's successor. It's not going to be for 2024. Mm-hmm. Could it be for 2025? Could it be for 2026? I'm watching pictures of Jordan Love right here, who had to wait 3 years for his starting opportunity.
Looked pretty good today.
And 3 years in the NFL without having to play. Then all of a sudden this year was his first year as a starter, and he got a game ball going into Dallas and take care of business. The Rams have to draft a quarterback. I'm just saying he's going to be groomed. Give him 2 years in the McVay system. He's your starting quarterback in 2026.
Let's try another phone call here. Let's go to Daniel. Daniel, you're up next on the Coors Light Postgame Show. What's up?
Hey, guys. First time, long time. Travis, go Gauchos.
Go Gauchos. Olé.
Yeah. After the initial sting of the loss gets out of the way, you get, really excited, looking forward to what this team has going for it, like you guys just outlined. I'm hopeful that after gutting the defense this offseason, we put some resources back into it, defensive back, edge rusher. So just really excited, and really kudos to Coach McVay, Snead, and the team they put together on the fly. It's really, there's nothing quite like it. And just a quick line for the Rams fans out there. Let's not be the blame the refs fan base. We dealt with that with the Saints 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however long that was. Let's not do it. Hey, it goes both ways. We do what you can. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, Danielle, thanks for the call. Look, we talked about it, but I'm not a blame the refs. It's a bad call. It was pass interference. You'd like to see it called. There was a couple. The Rams had a weird, what do you call it, offsides or encroachment that they got away with.
Yep, 100%.
This stuff tends to work. At the end of the game, it's always magnified. It was a bad call, but I don't think that anybody – they were in the red zone 3 times. They were first and goal from the 6-yard line and didn't get in the end zone. They kicked 3 field goals in the red zone in 3 trips. They made a weird decision on 3rd and 4 and to punt it away on 4th down. I think that had a lot more to do with where they were than that pass interference. I know that pass interference set up the 4th down decision, but bad call. You'd love to see them get every call exactly right, but I don't know. It was the awful, awful call. But I'm not sitting here feeling like the reason the Rams are out of the playoffs is because of that call. They had additional opportunities.
The Rams lost, and they go into an offseason where I think that they were excited about what's out there to come. You know what I mean? I look at all these other teams who are not in the playoffs right now currently, and I'm saying, would you rather be these other teams or the Rams? I'd take the Rams all day. Would you want to be Washington, New England, the Chargers, the Giants, Tennessee, Atlanta, Chicago, the Jets, Minnesota, Denver,
You know why?
Raiders,
You know why the Rams are a better job than
Indianapolis.
I should say a better situation
Seattle.
than all of those.
Yeah,
number 9.
Yeah, number 9. Oh, no.
They got the They have a quarterback that the only guy on that list is Herbert, and Stafford's light years better than Herbert. Light years.
But see, what happened is they also did what the Rams did. They went all in.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about the Rams are going to have $70 million in cap space. Chargers are $70 million over. So
a little different.
Yeah, they got money over, so they got to get rid of some guys to do that. My only hold up here with the Rams, and this is actually a good thing, is that they may have to replace their defensive coordinator. I think Raheem Morris has proved, especially with the young players, that he was able to kind of help mentor throughout the year. Especially, look, if you say, hey, man, but he had you see what happened in the playoffs? No. What I saw was his team gave up some points to an offensive coordinator who's going to be a head coach. But you put that second half of this Detroit Lions game, you put that on your resume. Say, I'm going to show you what we did in the second half.
Absolutely.
We scored 3 points. So I believe he's going to be a head coach in this coaching cycle. So that may be the only thing the Rams have to do in terms of fixing their coaching staff, is just bringing in a new defensive coordinator.
And it's something they've had to do over and over and over again. The coaching bleed that Sean McVey has had, the brain drain, thank you, Emily, that the team has had under Sean McVey, it's every single season.
This coaching tree.
They're hiring his guys left and right. And obviously Raheem Morris is a guy in his own right. He's a previous head coach in Tampa, but this is nothing new for them to do. Some very, very good news on Aaron Donald coming up when we come back. Plus, we'll talk about the rest of the weekend. Super Wild Card Weekend. That's coming up on the Coors Light Postgame Show on 710 ESPN.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason and Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us January 15th. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO. Hey, John Ireland here, and I'm at my local Ralph's in front of the BBGO display, and here's why. The Lakers and Ralph's are doing a sweepstakes, and you could win courtside seats to a Laker game. The question I get more than anything else is, how do I get in those courtside seats? This is how. You come to a local Ralph's, you spend at least $10 on BBGO. Then you take your receipt and you send it to this web address, Lakers.com/BBGO sweeps. That's Lakers.com/BBGO sweeps. It's the contest runs from now through February 6th. So all you gotta do is go to Ralph's, get some BBGO, and send in that receipt. Well, as long as I'm here. You can never have enough BBGO.
BBGO, the official game day snack of the Los Angeles Lakers.
Season comes to an end in Detroit. They fall 24-23, but there is a silver lining to this. Aaron Donald was asked post-game if he's committed to carrying forward with this group into 2024, and he said, quote, for sure. So Aaron Donald, who for the last couple of seasons, after the Rams won the Super Bowl, there was speculation that he might retire. Last year, after a very difficult 5-12 season, there was some speculation that maybe he was getting towards the end of wanting to do this. But, you and I have talked about this all season long. You could tell he was re-energized by this team. And Sean McVey was re-energized by this team. There was just an incredible amount of positive energy around this team this season.
He's also making $35 million.
That helps too.
So, I don't think I'm going to walk away from that.
That helps too.
$35 million knowing that I don't have to carry my defense next year.
Yeah.
Because we got a little money to spend. I got some young players who played.
Kirk, what's going through his mind? We saw, watching it on television,
right.
He was double-teamed on just about every single snap and frequently triple-teamed.
Right.
Do you ever get to the point where I just don't want to go up against three 330-pound guys 60 times a night for 20 weeks?
Well, I get that, but I think it was the enjoyment of seeing his other guys go out and make some plays, Kobe Turner and Byron Young. I think the Rams are going to bring him some help this year. They're going to have to find an outstanding edge rusher. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams trade for one. So we always keep saying that they got a first-round pick.
We know Les Snead will do a trade.
Yeah, because they want the asset that they could okay, I know this guy can play. When you're drafting, you don't know. I know
Kirk,
that they hit on many of their draft picks, but they're not afraid of it.
I don't care if it's the NBA. I don't care if it's Major League Baseball, and certainly in the NFL. If I know a guy can play in this league, give me him. And I know, look, occasionally you're going to miss, and some guy that you could have drafted is going to go and be awesome. But if I get a chance to get Jalen Ramsey, give me that guy. If I get a chance to get Von Miller, give me that guy. I'm gonna take the guy that I know can have an impact on my team.
I got a couple names for you to watch out for. Okay, couple names. Just hear me out. Randy Gregory and Chase Young. Free agents next year. They'll be free agents.
Yeah.
Okay. They were released by their teams, but obviously their team.
Chase Young's interesting.
Yeah. Washington in shambles. Okay. Randy Gregory leaves Denver, and we know what Denver's going through right now. They got to figure out this quarterback situation with Russell Wilson. They told him to stay home. Yeah. Like I said, when you look at the Rams situation,
Travis, they don't do stuff like that.
Rams we good. We kicking our feet up. You always have to go through that one bad year. That was last year, 5-12. This year, totally different. So I think bringing in a Chase Young, Randy Gregory, you're going to bring in another outside rush player to help out Aaron Donald as he can kind of sit back, be a situational pass rusher, and collect $35 million.
Not a bad deal at all. Let's talk about some of these other games this weekend and some of the ones coming up next weekend as well. They're brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times. Just very quickly, let's jump ahead. Can Green Bay go into San Francisco and upset the Niners?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jorge?
Especially the way that Jorge over there getting nervous. I do believe that they have a formula. They run the football. And I think that 49er fans are starting to say, okay, we have to look at Brock Purdy and say, you know what? Is he really the guy? Because this is where everything's great in the regular season, but if you really look at his playoff appearances, what did he really do last year? This team was all about Christian McCaffrey, and they beat a Dallas Cowboys team that, let's be honest, it's the Dallas Cowboys last year. They had to win one game.
They always played from ahead, too.
Right.
When he plays from behind, he's a different guy.
They had to win. 2 games, right? They played in the wild card last year. They won, but it was like, okay, he did enough, but you didn't see him in that game against the Eagles last year. And I know it's a totally different game in the wild card. I mean, in the regular season, but did you see enough? So to me, the pressure is now on the 49ers. Green Bay Packers are not supposed to be here.
No, house money, youngest team in the league.
And they're healthy.
Yeah.
And their stars came out and they played well. And it's against a Matt LaFleur team who is excited for this opportunity. I'm going to lean right now that I'm not surprised if they go into San Francisco and take care of business. They're playing a lot better than I expected.
Okay, so let's go to what we saw right before the Rams and the Lions took the field. The Packers beat the Cowboys 48-32.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that game, do not let the score lead you to believe that it was 48-32. It was 1,000,000 to 0. Okay, the Packers smashed them in every possible way. It was a beatdown. It was ugly. Dak did not look good. Nothing looked right for the Cowboys. The odds on Bill Belichick being the next coach of the Cowboys are 1-2, which means you need to bet $2 to win one. Okay, that's how much it seems like Bill Belichick is headed there. Number one, any chance at all McCarthy survives? And if not, is Belichick going to be the next coach of the Cowboys, in your opinion?
I don't believe Belichick goes there. There's some things floating around. I saw Des Bryant put out a tweet that said they could have released Ezekiel Elliott and made him a free agent at the end when the Patriots were just out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of people thought he would have signed with the Dallas Cowboys to come back. Now, Des Bryant is saying that Bill Belichick blocked that move. So we'll see what's going on with that. But no, think about it. I really want people to think about it. Bill Belichick, Jerry Jones, a guy who gives interviews on his own, an owner who gets an interview after every game. And
looks forward to giving an interview after every game.
Can't wait for it. Let the cameras come. And then you have Bill Belichick, who absolutely despises doing interviews, right? Hey, Bill, what you got for next week? Oh, we're on.
Doesn't that add up, though? Look, you let Jerry go do it. I don't even have to do those things anymore.
We're on to the New York Giants. We're on to the New York. You think Bill Belichick is going to – I think – no,
you think Belichick is the roadblock in this? That he won't want it? That Jerry will offer it or at least attempt to offer it to him, and he will not be interested?
Jerry Jones is probably the richest man in the room, so he's going to make the decisions. Bill Belichick walks in, I'm the smartest man in the room, and now you have a power struggle.
Yeah,
it just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit.
I get it, but look, I'm a big believer in anybody that's listening to the Travis and Sleeper show knows that. Yeah. I'm going to go with what you've done the 100 times leading up to it. The 101 is going to be just like the other 100.
Yep.
I believe that to be true. Ego is a bitch, right? It will eat you up.
Correct.
His mortality is staring him in the face. He wants another one before it's all said and done. I'm not saying that Jerry.
You think Dallas?
I'm thinking that, look, I am running out of time here. No, I'm not going to live to be 150 years old. At some point, you got to decide I'm going in a different direction, and I got to get the best possible candidate. Is he not the best possible candidate? Is it Harbaugh? Is it someone else? Does somebody else come in and finally get them over the hump?
Somebody else can do it. It's just not going to be Bill Belichick. I don't think that he wants that. He doesn't want that kind of attention. And think about the attention that he will get being the Dallas Cowboys head coach. I think that that's just not who he is. And I'd be shocked. Yes, it's.
I really want you to be wrong. I want him to go very badly.
But you think Bill Belichick? Think about him.
I do. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I do see it because look. The other thing that you know what else Bill Belichick wants, and he'll never say it out loud. He wants to break Don Shula's record. He needs to go to Washington. That's going to take
he's got about 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
He's 16 away.
Right.
It's 8 wins 2 years. He's going to win 8 games with the Cowboys 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
He's over the number. Some of these other places. Maybe not so much. Maybe so, but the Cowboys are going to win. I could coach the Cowboys. Are going to win 8 games.
What is he willing to give up? What is he willing to give up? Because Jerry Jones is not relinquishing his general manager title and owner.
No.
He's not. So Bill Belichick is just going to be a puppet, a coach?
Not a puppet necessarily, but somebody. We're gonna collaborate. We're gonna discuss.
The dude walks in and drops 8 rings on there, 2 as a coordinator, 6 as a head coach. And you got the nerve. You got 3. Get out of here. Get them little 3 rings out of here.
Jerry
Dude,
Jones has 3, but 2 of them are Jimmy Johnson's, and really the third one is 2, even though Barry Switzer was standing there keeping the lights on.
I come to the meeting with 8 rings on, and I'm just going to sit here with my hands folded like that Jordan
Now it has to happen because I want to see the 2 of them fight after every single game along the way. The Rams do not have a coaching question to answer. Of course, they have Sean McVey. We'll hear from him coming up next. It's Coors Light. It is the postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Well, let me tell you something, brother. This Monday at Yalava at the 909 Sports Bar, the greatest sports bar on the planet, it's Monday Night Football, the playoff edition, and we're giving away a ton of money. Oh, yeah, that's right.
And special thanks to Bud Light, making our NFL playoff parties happen. Whoop, whoop.
Hey, it's John Ireland, and I'm at Ralph's in Redondo Beach. You got to check this place out. It's at 1413 Hawthorne Boulevard in Redondo Beach. And on January 15th, Mason and I are going to be here. Mason and Ireland, live remote with BBGO. Sasha Vujicic will be here, Derek Fisher will be here, and hopefully you'll be here too. It's all part of a big Lakers BBGO promotion. You can win BBGO, you can win Lakers swag, you even have a chance to win courtside seats. Don't miss it. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. This place is huge. Check it out. This may be the biggest supermarket I've ever seen. Be sure to join us January 15th. Ralph's in Redondo Beach. Derek Fisher, Sasha Vujicic, Mason, Ireland, and BBGO.
Show on the ESPN LA Rams radio network.
And it is a final at Ford Field. Super Wild Card Sunday night.
And it is the Coors Light postgame show Sunday night, Wild Card Sunday night edition. Coors Light, keeping Southern California chill all season long. Rams lose tonight to the Lions in a season that nobody saw the Rams making the playoffs. But the Lions win this one tonight at Ford Field. We're reacting right now. Travis Rogers, Kirk Morrison with all the coverage and taking your reaction at 877-710-ESPN. The Coors Light postgame show, Wild Card Sunday night edition, continues right now. Back to Travis and Kirk.
So a couple of playoff streaks come to an end. The Rams had a 4-game playoff winning streak that comes to an end today in Detroit. Nice. And the Lions win a playoff game for the first time since 1991. How about that? 1991. So pretty remarkable that it's been that long. We're looking at Jared Goff on the TV right now. I'd imagine Jared Goff's feeling pretty good right now, Kirk. I would imagine that is a deeply satisfying win for Goff.
Yeah, not only him, but I've had a chance to scour the internet just a little bit. And Brad Holmes, their general manager, he had the guts, the onions, to go out and bring Jared Goff over in that trade. He agreed with the Rams to say, you know what? We'll trade you Matthew Stafford, give us a couple of first-round picks, and we'll take Jared Goff. So a little bit of passion coming out of him celebrating the victory just as much as Jared Goff, because he bet on Jared Goff. Took him 3 years.
Yep.
They had to go through a 3-13 in 1 year. But, man, these last 2 years have been great for them. And so kudos to Jared Goff, Brad Holmes, just their entire staff, and even Dan Campbell, who for a lot of people, I'm just looking at now, his introductory press conference was one you laughed at, and now everybody's saying, man, he's one hell of a coach.
They went into Green Bay at the end of last season, knocked them out of the playoffs before they even started, and they opened up this season with a win in Kansas City, and they're a game away from going to the NFC Championship game, and they're going to get a chance to play it at home against the winner of tomorrow's Tampa-Philadelphia game along the way. The Rams season is over. The Rams are 10-7. Their head coach, Sean McVey, after the game.
All right, guys. First of all, congratulations to Coach Campbell and those guys. What a great atmosphere, great environment. Came down to the wire. Thought we had our chances, but I'm so proud of this football team. And, the finality of it is still kind of, it doesn't totally resonate, but, man, did I learn a lot and really appreciate this group. They helped me find my way again, and how much I love this and love the people that I'm around. And it certainly is always about people. It's these players, these coaches. You don't take away the credit that the Lions deserve. Thought there was some opportunities for us to be able to, come away with that game. I really liked the way our defense played in the second half, and I think the difference in the game was the red area. We were 0 for 3. They were 3 for 3. There was certainly some chances that I think we're capable of executing, and we'll go back and we'll look at it and always try to be able to learn. But more than anything, just the appreciation and the gratitude is what what sticks out to me about this team. And hats off to the Lions for finding a way to be able to get it done. I got nothing but respect for that group.
Sean, can you address a team that grew so much?
Yeah.
Something like this. A lot of young players who've never experienced this kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know that there's. I think it's you got to feel the real emotions, and you go through it, and you just tell guys you love them and appreciate them, and then you just keep moving forward. But it's hard because the confidence that was earned from this group, they came in here with the expectation to advance and play the winner of the game tomorrow night, and so that's I think that's a tough pill to swallow. But I think the further that you get away from the raw emotions of it, the more appreciation they'll have for what they did. And I think there's a lot of things that we can build on, but you got to do it. It's, as we know, and this group is an example of it, the preseason stuff doesn't mean shit. You got to be able to go earn it. And every single year is a new year, but I do think we've got a lot of really key and critical guys that we're excited about building and continuing to develop and work with. And then there's a lot of guys that, might not be here that, I loved working with them and certainly learned a lot from this group. And so, just appreciation is the main thing that I hope they feel.
Sean, on that last drive, did Cam Akers' hand injury affect your play calling, A, and when it got to fourth down and 14, did you have any sense of this?
Yeah. The way that our defense was playing, obviously not having Kyron is a challenge. I thought Ronnie did a good job and was able to step up. That's a really good run defense. And we had some favorable looks that we were able to get into some stuff to be able to beat their coverages. And we did consistently throughout the day. And then they did a good job of tightening up in the red area. And you guys know, I'll be the first to say, there's certainly some things that I think that I'm always going to look at myself first. But, there were some execution things. And on the third down and 14, I'll go back and look at it. Got the coverage that we wanted, and they ended up making the breakup. But with 4 minutes left, and in that situation, we had talked about it. But I think still having a timeout and 4 minutes, the way our defense was playing, we were hopeful to get a stop. And hindsight's 20/20, and certainly regret that decision now. Yeah.
You really see in that first half when the Lions really came out and they were able to have 3 consecutive.
Yeah, I think it was execution. We weren't really forcing them to get into third down. You credit them. They're one of the best offenses. And so I think consistently throughout the year, like Raheem and our coaching staff has done, they make the adjustments. The players just stay steady. They stay resilient. And they gave us a chance. I didn't expect us to stall like what we did. There was a couple things that, I'm gonna go back and look at it. I don't want to say anything right now that gets me in trouble. So, I don't want to take away the credit for what the Lions found a way, and, hats off to them.
All right, that's Sean McVey after the season-ending 24-23 loss to the Detroit Lions. Kirk, the Rams won 10 games. The Rams gave a hell of a fight in a divisional playoff game on the road and had a chance to win it. Incredibly disappointing conclusion tonight and to the season. But how long before Sean McVey, his staff, and the players that know that they're going to be on the 2024 Rams start to feel like they took a massive step in the right direction and had a great season?
Give them a couple days. It'll happen by the middle of this week. He'll have another press conference to kind of sum up how the season went. But look, it's a long flight back home, but I think a lot of relationships were built, a lot of relationships were made. You saw rookies go out and make some plays and grow. You saw your older players become the staple that they've always been. And so tomorrow's an emotional day. You go in tomorrow, and it's the last time you'll see a lot of players on the team for a long time. This is the last time the 2023 Rams will be together. That's how crazy it comes tomorrow. You're going to go in, and there'll be black trash bags on your locker where you put everything in. You give your hugs and goodbyes. Have all the guys sign the helmet, and you'll remember this season for what it was worth, that you guys accomplished something. You made the playoffs in a year you weren't supposed to do anything. And then end of the week comes, and guess what? You're already on to 2024. The Rams get ready for the Combine coming up. They'll make some changes on the staff, and then the NFL, it doesn't sleep because the NFL Combine is just right away. I'm already making some reservations already, so it's crazy. But you know what? Puka Nacua get a chance to. He'll be at the Super Bowl, obviously. One of the candidates for NFL Rookie of the Year. So you'll think back, and when you see Puka, he will be one of the staples around here for a long time.
Face of the franchise along with Stafford and Donald moving forward.
But for me, every time I think of Puka in his rookie season, I'll think back to what the Rams accomplished that rookie year. I think he is the statue of this team, okay? Because when everybody looks back, everyone was sharing that record. That's the record that will live on for hopefully forever. We'll see.
Last time it lasted 60 years, so it may be up there for a while.
You know, kudos to him and to Sean McVey, the entire staff, Les Snead, Kevin Demoff. They had to answer a lot of tough questions this year about this plan in which they were going to say, hey, we are not in rebuild. We're just retooling. We're refining. We're rehabilitating, renovating. They did it all, and they did it to a successful 10-7 season. And to be 1 point short against a team that, you mentioned, could be playing in a Super Bowl, conference championship, I don't hang my head at all.
It was a great season, and like you said, Kirk, they go quickly. You and I just completed our eighth season together doing this. A quick thank you to everybody that had anything to do with both the pregame show, the halftime show, the postgame show. Thanks to Adam Bronstein and everybody over at the Rams, and Maurice and JB and DeMarco, who join us every single week. Emily Hebel completing her third year working as our producer. Congratulations and thank you to M. Jorge Briones, who's been on our board this season as well. Cody and Rebecca and everybody else who cuts the highlights. Chris Morales doing an amazing job with all of our imaging all season long. A great season, an unexpected 7-win season. And Kirk, I'm going to lay my head on the pillow. I'm going to turn around. It's going to be August, and we're going to be out at training camp all over again. It comes up quick.
I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that we could tune in on Thursday night of the draft.
Yep.
And watch the Rams.
We get to see.
Hoping.
It's been a long time. In fact, the last time they picked in the first round, they were the St. Louis Rams.
Yes.
Right? So here we go again.
St. Louis.
They were on their way coming to LA, but
their first overall pick.
Absolutely.
Jared
Cannot
Goff,
wait to do it
swing.
all over again.
Yep.
Enjoyed it with you, my friend.
Absolutely.
Look forward to year number 9. For Kirk Morrison, I'm Travis Rogers, and this has been the Coors Light Postgame Show on 710 ESPN.